The year was 1994. The Lion King releases in theaters. The slow-speed Ford Bronco chase starring O.J. Simpson grips America. Jeff Bezos founds Amazon, and a groundbreaking new experience launches for the Super Nintendo. Donkey Kong Country marked the comeback of the longtime favorite Nintendo character and puts him front and center as a protagonist for a new line of games. Developed by Rare Studios instead of directly from Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country revitalized the power of the Super Nintendo by utilizing pre-rendered backgrounds and character models to deliver a unique 3D gaming experience. Moving on from the 16-bit character models of games like Super Mario World and Final Fantasy, Donkey Kong Country showed that the future of gaming was in 3D models and environments coupled with faster gameplay and impressive performance. In this Classics Review edition of Retro Dive Reviews, we're going to explore the qualities that make this game great, but also viewing it through the lens of time to see how well the years have been to it. Is this worth the critical acclaim that old folks like myself hold for this game? Is this just another SNES side-scroller that is eclipsed by more up-to-date games? Or is this just another game your dad won't shut up about and you want another opinion on it? Well, dust off your controllers and blow on your cartridges, and let's look back on Donkey Kong Country. The good. As soon as you turn on the game, you are blasted by an impressive cacophony of instrumentals displaying the rare symbol, and then led into a mellow music piece shown by Cranky Kong turning a turntable, just to be blasted away again by those awesome jungle beats that make Donkey Kong Country so incredible. In a matter of 2 minutes, you were delivered some of the best music ever placed in a video game, and then you stop to think that this music is developed all on 16-bit systems. The unbridled potential of this soundtrack has been the ire of musicians everywhere. Musical greats like Tom Petty, Taylor Swift, and even Puff Daddy have gone on the record stating how much the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack has affected their music. It's not just the intro piece. Each level has its own score, adding to the atmosphere and aura of the game. The underwater levels alone have been a model for ambience. This is the only soundtrack that 10 out of 10 dentists recommend will prevent your teeth from cavities and the germs that cause gingivitis. It's that good. Now that your ears have been orally satisfied, we begin to actually play the game. Donkey Kong Country isn't your typical platformer though. No, where most games shoehorn you into playing as just one character, Donkey Kong Country says, hold up, what if we give you two characters to play as? Enter Diddy Kong. Donkey Kong's nephew is smaller, faster, and plays in a different way than Donkey Kong. He also acts as your second hit point if you knock Donkey Kong out while playing through. Not only that, but introducing Diddy Kong allows for an amazing two-player experience. You can play co-op where one person controls Donkey Kong, then if that player loses, the player controlling Diddy Kong takes over and continues the game. Additionally, you can play a two-player competition where each player progresses through each level trying to make it further than the other person. Gone are the days of making your little brother sit and watch until he can have a turn. Now both of you can play at the same time so your mom doesn't have to hear your whining and moaning about sharing a game. The controls are snappy and responsive, and one of the game's biggest strengths are the variety of levels to challenge the player. Besides your standard left to right to finish the level, there are water levels that challenge you to go up, down, left, and right, levels that utilize barrel launch timing for super fun combos, using stop and go barrels to freeze enemies from hurting you, and then there's the minecart level.
The minecart level.
Is there anything more fun than this level? It's fast-paced, high intensity, and requires super precise button jumping to collect banana bunches and the Kong letters that will challenge the most proficient platform gamers. I have gone through unbearable amounts of carpal tunnel from mashing the right button combos for perfect playing, and I don't regret a single moment. Each world hub has its own theme and provides endless variety to your playing experience. Enemy variations keep you on your toes, and hidden bonus sections are waiting to be discovered. Super Mario World introduced us to Yoshi, a rideable dinosaur that Mario can jump on to get him through levels. Donkey Kong Country takes us even further with 5 rideable companions, all with their own special abilities to propel you through each level. Besides their cuteness and charm, each animal companion has its own navigation abilities to create pathways to unexplored areas. Their abilities are also showcased in bonus levels, so when you encounter them in regular levels, you already have an understanding of how to use them to your advantage. Donkey Kong Country is a game that keeps things simple for gamers of all experiences and backgrounds. Collect 100 bananas and gain a life. Challenge yourself further to find all the letters that spell out K-O-N-G and gain another life. Exploration is rewarded with hidden bonus levels to earn more bananas and extra life balloons to keep you in the game. If you're really feeling frisky, levels can always be reattempted to discover the quickest path through each of them, adding more notches to your speedrunning belt. The bad. Now how can I talk badly about this timeless classic of a game? All the positives I mentioned, where could anything possibly be bad? There is one video game trope that I will always point out, and some are worse than others, but there is something simply atrocious about it during this era of games, and that is the dreaded save point. At this point, save points were an absolute luxury. There were still a lot of popular games out there that didn't even offer you the option of saving your game. 10-year-old kids were forced to starve and dehydrate themselves to finish a game. Nintendo, think of the children, for goodness sake. Now, even though Donkey Kong Country offers save points, there's only one in each world, and most of the time it's located way at the end of the entire world. So you have to go through almost 4 or 5 levels of jumps and patterns that you haven't seen before. Hope you have enough lives to get you through just to jump into Candy Kong's save barrel. And guess what? If you can't handle the new levels, then it's game over for you and you go back to your last save point. Like I said, it's usually at the end of the world, so you get pushed back to the last world you beat, then you have to beat the boss all over again. Then no matter where you got your game over, you have to beat all the levels in the next world until you might get to the next save point. This is simply a limitation of the time and technology this game was created in, and thankfully we have progressed in our ability to save a game. Although the bonus levels are fun and generally rewarding, the rewards are only limited to more bananas and extra life balloons. A younger gamer may find this boring and not worth discovering because they are used to obtaining some other form of collectible for discovering these hidden areas. While the extra lives are certainly helpful, the bonus levels lack any true reward for finding them and keeping the player looking for more. Luckily, this was addressed in the upcoming sequel. My only legitimate complaint is with the bosses for each world. They are your generic 3 hits then die enemies that have a predictable attack pattern that just speeds up in between hits. Donkey Kong Country really wasn't trying to break the mold with these boss fights, and usually just end up being more of a nuisance, especially coupled with the save point issue mentioned before. It's so annoyingly easy you get too comfortable, then slip up your jump, get knocked out, and waste a precious life on an otherwise forgettable boss. King K. Rool is really the only boss worth writing home about, and he's the last boss. Let's give some credit to the great wordplay in his name though. Other than that, I don't have much else to complain about. This is one of the first video games I've ever played, and I will love it until the day I die. It's such a simple game, and I'll be damned if I don't have my kids try this game at least once. Final score, 10 out of 10. Love this game.